Hey guys, it is day 200 of this weight loss journey. It is a pleasure to be out here today and getting to do this. Yesterday, I was in the exact same clothes. And why? Because I spent the day recovering on the couch and I did not shower. And this is literally about the first time that I've been up off that couch other than to use the restroom. And I decided go ahead for a little recovery. I'm able to walk now and I am glad to be out here and I look forward to taking a shower. Yesterday was a personal best for me in that 5K. Now, I've only ran 3 races, but I was able to do that run at a pace of 11:46 per mile overall. I don't know the final time. It's up in the 30s. So, I mean, it's slow. But you're talking about a guy who didn't really start training for running until about 2 months ago. Prior to the new year, I've been mostly sedentary. I mean, I've done carpentry work and little construction work and stuff, but for the most part, mostly sedentary. Now that personal best was set in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. I know it's an older shoe, but I thought it would be fitting to wear. But it's not my fastest mile ever. My fastest mile, just like one individual mile, was like 11 minutes 33 seconds, and that was in the Adidas Evo SL. I do have some carbon plated racers, but I'm saving those a little bit until my fitness improves. I'm not ever going to be a really fast runner. I can't imagine that I will. But, when I look at myself and I'm seeing the stomach is a little bit more trim, and it already is, but I'm starting to see that and more things come online, like my strength and all of that. I'll feel better, putting those shoes on and doing them justice for me. I'm at a point in the journey, like I'm at the bottom. Like literally, there was a woman in the last 5K race and she was like 80 years old, something like that. And that woman never stopped. She literally never stopped. She just kept a constant smooth pace all the way through. And I was trying to keep up with intervals and I was having the hardest time, I swear. And eventually, like 2.5 miles into the race, she ran out of gas a little bit. She still kept going at a pace, but then I just kind of picked up speed. But I mean, I should not have that much trouble keeping up with an 80-year-old woman, but she was spectacular. And then when I went to talk to her and just tell her that she was an inspiration, she mentioned to me that her friend, who was directly in front of her, who was like 83 years old, had just completed it like 3 minutes faster. And I'm like, what's going on? And then during yesterday's 5K, I had a pace in my ear. I kind of knew that I was on track to beat my former records, and so I was all happy about that. And then I just kept going. I got to the end, and then I found out that a 78-year-old outpaced me by like a minute. Here's what I've learned about this sport of running that I would have never imagined. Don't ever underestimate a person's ability. Don't underestimate their heart and their determination. Don't underestimate any of that. When you look at a person, and they might have the physical attributes of a potato like me, but don't ever underestimate them, because they literally could be a stick of dynamite inside of them that is just ready to unleash. It's crazy what I have seen pass me up. I don't know where I'm going with any of that. Just figured I would share it. It's been a really fun journey, but also a humbling one as well. I'm out here today in the Nike Vomero 17s, and here it is from the side. Here it is from the other side. I'd like to talk about these things for just a minute, whatever. The Vomero 17, I don't think got like much love from online reviewers and stuff. A lot of them considered it just kind of an upgraded Pegasus 41. And in some respects, you could say they've got a point. And then the Pegasus line itself has been pretty much overshadowed by other brands and their daily trainers recently. So the 41 didn't get much love either. The 41, and I think these, I don't know, I'm not taking the time to look, but I think they had like a a pretty thick bulb of React X foam. And I think a lot of people had just kind of like moved on from React X, and they really wanted like Zoom cushioning, and you know, all these other brands started coming out with their high level foams. And you know, I think a lot of people just kind of frowned upon the 41 and the Vomero 17 just on a basis of maybe they felt like it was a little outdated. The 41 hadn't been out that long, and I picked it up for someone in almost new condition for $30. And then shortly after that, I picked up this version of the Nike Vomero 17 in this colorway for I think it was like $30 or $40 at Ross Dress for Less. It was discounted too. Now, I did ask the previous owner of the 41s why they were getting rid of them so cheap this early in the cycle, and he was transparent and he said that they hurt his feet. Well, honestly, I can't say that I've had that experience with either of the shoes. I have found them to be fantastic as far as the way that they felt, and so I've loved the 41. In fact, someone else locally was selling the exact same colorway of the shoe in a very similar condition for, again, $30. And I picked them up because they were in excellent shape. But I do have a big complaint about these things, and that's the quality. Within just a little bit of time of me walking in one of the pairs of the 41s, the rubber started to separate. And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, that's not how I got them from the guy. And granted, I got them secondhand, but I assure you, they were in like excellent condition. And yet the rubber started to just peel off, and there wasn't much use on those shoes at all. Like, we're talking about a casual stroll like this. So I hadn't even ran in the shoe at that point. And then the very next day, I took out the Vomero 17s and I walked in them for about an hour or so. I came back to the house, I checked their condition, and lo and behold, there was a point at which 2 layers of foam had started to separate. And for all intents and purposes, those shoes were brand new. Now, granted, they were Ross Dress for Less, but usually I've been told that if there was like a manufacturer's defect, that they would mark it with a stamp like a B or something, but there was no such thing. So I don't know if there was a manufacturer's defect or not. It was a purple colorway, and maybe that wasn't a high seller for men, but there was just that kind of level of separation and is inexcusable. I thought about sending them back in to Nike for their manufacturer's warranty, and unfortunately it had reached the point where if I had sent them back, the 17, which I love the shoe, I love the way it feels, but the 17 would have been unavailable for me to purchase afterward. Now, I could have used the money and the credit, because the way they have it set up, you would be reimbursed for the shoe's original retail value. So I could have used that money as a credit towards any other shoe within the Nike lineup. But that's the thing, I really love the 17. So then, for those of you that might think, well, just bump up to the 18. There's a huge difference between the 18 and the 17. And while I would say the majority of people out there really prefer the 18 over the 17, I'm probably one of the few that chooses the earlier version. I tried on the 18s, did not like them at all. So I chose to keep the shoes knowing that there was a level of separation happening in the foam. And I do have a family member through marriage, but a family member that had many years of experience in the shoe industry as it relates to the glue department of the shoe industry. He in fact retired from that industry, and so he has a vast knowledge of different available glues, application methods, all different kind of stuff as it relates to re-gluing shoes. And so he worked on them for me, and I'm out here now in these shoes, but I still know in the back of my mind that separation is there, so I'm not really pushing these to a fast pace. These are pretty much a recovery shoe, and I mean, that's their intended purpose now. But I think their intended purpose was for you to be able to use it as a recovery shoe, but also an up-tempo shoe as well, because it does lean you forward a bit. And but yeah, there's not going to be any more speed work in these shoes, definitely. Anyway, guys, thanks for checking in. I've talked long enough. You all take it easy. I'm out of here. Later.